Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday. It's the Chad Prather Show. Glad you tuned in. Make sure you hit, click, rub. I don't care what you do, but like this show. Okay, there's a little thumbs up thing down below the videos. Hit that deal. If you're listening by way of audio, where podcasts are offered, find where you can give a rating and review. 5 stars. That's what we deserve. And leave us a review. Don't care what you say. I mean, I'd love it if you put some thought into it. You ain't got to be a smart ass all the time and just say, said something. Come on. Put some thought into it. I'd love to get some feedback. Blow up the chat this morning, this afternoon, whatever day it is. I don't know where we are at this stage, and I'll tell you why I'm confused. Well, in a nutshell, it's because I'm getting older, but I'm going to tell you later on in the show what's going on, all right? It's crazy. It's been a wild day already. What day isn't? August 5th, I got to give a shout-out to my brother, Tommy. He's his birthday today. He's 10 years older than me. Getting up there, buddy. Getting up there. Happy birthday, buddy. I love you. I love you, man. Be careful out there. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday, heading into a great week. Tomorrow night, I'm speaking at a convention down in Houston. Looking forward to that. Heading up to the Trump Westchester in New York. Going to be speaking at the Make Music Right Gala. I am on the advisory board of Make Music Right, and I'm looking forward to being up there with a number of friends. Chloe Castillo, who started that organization, as well as Lara Trump. We're going to have a good time. And then next week, we are in Fredericksburg, Texas, back at the Rockbox Theater. So get your tickets at watchchad.com. That's always a sold-out show. I'm bringing the ragamuffins with me. We always have a good time over there in the Texas wine country. I don't drink any of that nasty wine. I don't drink none of that nasty stuff. Some of that devil juice. You guys ever just feel a little bit like you're just getting older, and you look back on your life and you're like, have I accomplished anything? Like, am I leaving anything behind? I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper in that. We got some stuff to talk about today, though. The liberals, they're crying on their own. There's wah, 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 all the stuff. And I'm sure by now you've seen our buddy Alex Stein. You've seen his little troll session that he did at the Texas Senate. We got a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. Some stuff that you've already heard about, maybe today in the headlines. But gosh, this only you can come here where we can just truly mock them and make fun of them and have fun with all of it. And we're going to do that today, I promise you, on the Chad Prather Show. If you're not following me on Instagram or X at WatchChad, do that, please. I love it over on Instagram. I enjoy that. I'm a very visual person. I like it when you can see things that are going on. And drinking my peptides, having a good time with Make Wellness. You can find the link at watchchad.com. Don't you love it when somebody drinks liquid on a microphone? It sounds fantastic in your ear. All right, let me ask you something. Have you ever just kind of sat in the quiet? This is what I'm thinking about today. I'm 52 years old. I'm not old, but I'm older. Dealing with things, just dealing with life. You ever sat there in the quiet early in the morning, maybe, you got your hands wrapped around that little cup of coffee, and you're staring out your window, you're just kind of looking at nothing in particular, just gazing off in the distance, and you go, what was it all for? What was this life all about? What has life been? What's the grind for? The sacrifices, the early mornings, the sleepless nights, the worry, the principles that you stood for. Even when nobody was clapping for you, when the kids move out, the hair turns gray or turns loose. The spotlight kind of fades on life and the paycheck doesn't define you anymore. What's left? I mean, what do you really leave behind? I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about legacy. It's easy to feel like life just turns into just a treadmill, a cycle of sunrises and sunsets, and it's going so fast. Party Foul Steve and I were talking about it yesterday. Say, man, you hope you got 20 or 30 years left. You don't know anymore. You might not have 2 days left. We don't know. But life becomes one long loop of doing your best and then wondering if it even mattered. Did you make a mark? And because we live in a world that seems hell-bent on forgetting all the values that built it. Things like faith and honor and country and family and integrity. They used to mean something. Now they've become a punchline. They've become cliche. We just throw it out there. We put it on a T-shirt or something, and nobody knows what it means. And we got a society out there, as I said, that's hell-bent on tearing those things down. They're mocking it. They're ridiculing it. And we're just like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. But here is what I've come to believe. Legacy isn't about being remembered by the masses. So screw them. It's not about having your name carved in marble or trending on social media. Screw that too. Legacy is about what you build inside the people you love and the principles that you absolutely refuse to let die. So if you're a value-driven person, I like to think of myself that way. If you're a faith-rooted and freedom-minded person, your life doesn't move in straight lines. It doesn't do that. See, that's why your life, if you're truly one of those people, you don't have this linear thing with a timeline that says, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to start here, and then we're going to have this point, that's going to be a highlight, and then we're going to hit that, and that's going to make a mark, and then we're going to have that finish, and it's all that. Your life doesn't move in straight lines. You know why? It's chaotic. You know why it's confusing? Because you've built a life, you're building a life that moves not based on the bullet points, it moves on impact. You go where you can make the most impact. And I'm not just talking about making money or building businesses or holding positions. Screw that too. I'm talking about raising men and raising women who know how to stand and stand firm when the wind's going to blow, when the circumstances aren't going to go their way, when the status quo sucks. I'm talking about living in such a way that the people under your roof, in your circle, in your care, know what matters because they saw it in you. I was listening to church on Sunday morning, and I was reminded by the pastor of something that John Maxwell said. He said, you know, if you're a leader, leaders are people who have influence. If you have influence over anybody in the world, you're a leader. And that you got to know that you're building something in the people that you influence. And what you're repeating in them, they see it in you, and it's something that's going to be replicated. So we live in a culture right now that says, just do you. You just do you. You go live your truth. I hate those phrases. I want to see you in the chat if you agree with me. Slap an emoji in there, an American flag, or just say yes, say amen, anything. I hate those phrases. You do you. Go live your truth. Find your truth. Follow your heart. You just chase meaning and happiness. Well, you know, doing you is hard to do. If your heart's broken, if you feel purposeless, if happiness is fleeting, what then? I'll tell you what then. You dig deep and you plant your feet and you remember that you were made for something bigger than this stupid momentary satisfaction. Nobody's here to pat your bobo while you navel gaze. You were made to fight for something eternal. And I want to remind you of that when a whole world's crapping on your values. Because, see, it's not just about getting older. It's about getting clearer. It's about getting more clear. Clarity comes with years. Wisdom comes with experience. At some point, you stop trying to be everything and you start trying to become something that lasts. And I know that's a burden that gets heavy, especially when you've been carrying that load for a long-ass time. Now, when you've been the protector, the provider, the prayer warrior, the patriot, sometimes you feel like you're screaming truth into a void that doesn't want to hear it. And in the middle of that black hole, you think it's meaningless, but hear me on this, okay? Your faithfulness in a faithless world, it matters. The fact that you get up and show up and you bring substance, it matters. Your conviction in a confused culture matters. These people are trying to figure out their pronouns and their gender and who's pissed off about what today. It matters. Your presence in your home matters. Your prayers that nobody hears but you in heaven, they matter. They are building things you can't even see yet. My God, they are. See, God's not measuring your legacy in likes and follows. He's measuring it in obedience, in the quiet, yes, in the quiet, in the silent endurance, without the fanfare, in the stand, you know, in the stand you took when everybody else bowed down. You want to know how to leave a legacy? You live today like it matters for eternity. That's why Jesus said, you offer a cup of cold water in my name, I'll remember it for eternity. Something simple. You keep showing up. You keep honoring your word. You keep teaching your kids and grandkids how to pray, how to think critically, how to respect their country, how to never bow to tyranny in any form. You keep defending the Constitution, even if you're the last voice in the room doing it. You keep telling your story. And if your voice shakes a little bit, good, because that means it's real. You want to know what a legacy is? A legacy is when your name stops being spoken, but your influence keeps on moving even after you're gone. So no, it's not pointless. What you're doing, listen to me, I get your messages. I see what you say to me. I don't always respond because I get so many, but I see them. I read them. People tell me, you shouldn't read those messages. I do read them because it's a value to me. You're a value to me, and it's not pointless. So when you're tired, even when nobody notices, even when the world calls you old-fashioned, washed up, outdated, and your family's not talking to you, you keep on building, you keep on believing, you keep the fire of freedom and faith lit in your soul, because one day when the dust settles and all the noise dies down, somebody will be standing in your shoes holding the torch that you lit, and they're going to be grateful that you didn't give up. That's the legacy, and I want you to live like it today. Come on. Now, let me just say, my friends over at Patriot Mobile, they're the kind of people who not only build but leave a legacy. Visit them at patriotmobile.com/Chad. Call them on the phone at 972-PATRIOT. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team will not only be audibly legible, you'll understand their language because they're Americans. They speak English. And they'll help you find the perfect cellular plan with the best coverage for your family, for your budget. Right now today. Bring your device, bring your number, whatever combination you need to do, they'll help you. They got it. It'll fit your budget. They're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they will take care of you. They use the same towers as the big three, but when you pay your bill, guess what? They are not taking a portion of your money and sending it to these progressive leftist causes like the big three do. So make the switch today. Go over to patriotmobile.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. They'll give you free activation if you're active duty military, a veteran, or a first responder hero. And I bet if you tell them and you beg them long enough, tell them Chad loves you, they might do it for you too, even if you're not one of those people. But they will give you a free month if you use promo code Chad. So tell them I sent you. Use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. PatriotMobile.com/Chad. All right. Go visit them. Take care of that. Check it off the list. And let's bring him on. Party Foul Steve, baby. What's up, Daddy?
What's up? I'm still choking up over here. I'm crying. I'm thinking legacies and stuff like that.
Well, that's what you and I were talking about.
Think about my grandchildren, especially with one due at any moment, any time. And it's yesterday, you and I were traveling yesterday, and my son calls to, he said, can I borrow the carpet cleaner? And without hesitation, I said, you can borrow anything I have. And then it went in my process. I was like, that's what you tell me all the time.
Yeah.
And, man, it's, I'm very blessed that, and I had a lot of help raising good kids, all of them. And, but man, and they're raising good kids. And that's, I hope there's things that I say and I do that they just carry on.
Yeah. There's a lot of frustrated people out there because they feel like it's all in vain. And, what's it all about, right? And you get older and you look at life and you go, did I make a mark? And that's my point, because we all feel that. You're not human if you don't. I had a teaching moment with one of my kids yesterday because you know how kids are. They're young in life. They're moving on. They're adults, and they don't always know how to properly ask or even be gracious in the way they ask for things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, listen, okay, whatever belongs to me belongs to you, but there's got to be some responsibility here. So we had a little teaching moment on that because Dad's not a bank, and it's just the way it goes. But I checked my blood pressure this morning. I got up this morning and I did the Before the Noise episode. If you're not watching those, I encourage you to do it. All I'm asking people to do is give me 10 minutes of their time every morning, Monday through Friday. And it's a nice, quiet, meditative teaching. We're working through the book of John. And I got up to do it, Steve. And my blood pressure medicine, I ran out of it last week while traveling. I always keep some other stuff like on hand just in case, a different prescription. But my main daily stuff, I ran out of it because I have genetically high. It just stays elevated if I don't deal with it.
Poor genes. Poor genes.
I got poor genes. Chad Prather does not have good genes. There's no privilege in that. So I was walking past the pantry there in the kitchen and a little earlier, and I just grabbed the sphygmometer, the blood pressure cuff, out of the deal, and I go, I need to check my blood pressure. Steve, it was high.
Oh,
Steve,
like high, like whenever you had to lay backstage one time and have medics take care of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
It
good,
was high to the point of going, maybe it's time to go to the ER.
You didn't call me.
No, I didn't, but I did text your
me?
wife. I texted your wife. I know from whence my help cometh. No, I would have if I thought I needed to do it, but I took the backup medicine and it started coming down. But you got to be careful with stuff like that because blood pressure, you don't necessarily feel it. That's the silent killer, right? That's what they say about blood pressure. And I've been carrying a lot of weight in the last while. And so, I was like, with the peptides and stuff, with Make Wellness, my blood pressure was very well regulated. I was very pleased with it. And for those of you who don't know, I'm back on them now, but I took a month off from the peptides because I wanted to do an experiment. And maybe this is part of the experiment. My blood pressure got elevated. It's crazy. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, a month's way too. I took 3 days off of them and I couldn't stand myself.
You felt bad, didn't you?
Yeah.
Once you get on those peptides with Make Wellness, you feel so dadgum good. But here's what I did. I was doing so well with them. I said, let me see if it's just psychosomatic, like I'm just fooling myself here. So I said, I'm going to take a month off of the peptides, 3 weeks. I said, I'm going to take 3 weeks off. And buddy, I felt the difference. And I'm back on them again and rocking and rolling. So this is the first fit I've had in, I guess, maybe a month. So, and so I'm back on them.
So your blood pressure back down, you're like operating normal now?
I'm not normal. I took it right before we started taping here. I was still a little elevated, but it's definitely come down from where it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want you to, I can't get to you. I'm 20 minutes away,
Well, I know how to dial 911. I've had those episodes before where they go up, and I know everybody's got an opinion in the chat about what to do about blood pressure. I know. Trust me, I'm 52 years old. I've lived it for a long time. Lots of different health things that I've had to battle, but I know this looks good. But this comes with health issues, okay? This comes with some health issues. Literally, I can look in the mirror, like I can see myself on the camera right now, and I can see what's wrong with me. Like the cortisol, all the stuff. Look at you. Look at the fine, wavy locks on Party Foul Steve. Look at you.
Right there.
Look at you. We got a rebranding coming up September 1st. We're going to look good for it. We're going to look real good for it. In fact, I got to record today for next month. I'm doing the Make Wellness corporate call, their big monthly call. So I'm all fired up to lay on some stuff.
You got to record for them?
Got to record for them, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's get our blood pressure up. Hakeem Jeffries.
Every time I see, I must say this real quick. You know that those two black comedians, Teal and Peel or whatever.
Key and Peel.
That's who I think of. I don't know which one is which, but every time he starts to speak, that's who I think of.
Hakeem.
Yeah.
Hakeem. That is my boy. That is my boy. I saw the bump of her ankle. You saw ankle nut. I love Key and Peele. Hakeem Jeffries got the he's talking about this Texas redistricting, which, by the way, at this point, as far as I know, no Democrats have been arrested in Texas because they fled the state. He says the Republicans are running scared. Listen to Timo Obama was playing.
No. We've seen Texas Democrats try to use these quorum breaks before, only for them to fail, like back in 2003 and then in 2021. How will this time be any different?
Well, in the 2021 quorum break, actually, I would argue that Texas Democrats were successful in forcing Republicans to walk away from some of the more extreme parts of the voter suppression law that were being contemplated at the time. They still moved forward with their efforts to try to suppress the possibility of a free and fair election in Texas. This is what they do. But the Texas Democrats were successful in reducing the extreme nature of what was being proposed. But this moment does require an extraordinary response, because this is an extraordinary act that Republicans have been ordered to undertake to try to gerrymander the Texas congressional map as part of an effort to rig the midterm elections. Wolf, that's what this is all about, because Donald Trump, House Republicans, and the Texas Republican Party, they're all running scared because they have failed the American people.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's running scared. It's about time the Republicans play hardball.
They're not running scared. They're running strategy because they're doing it from a position of winning.
Amen.
I mean, listen, you don't dodge. You can redraft and rewrite and ram through your agenda. That's the point. I'm like, do it without lube. Let's go. They're not running scared. I mean, they're operating from a position of winning. But again, I love how they bring these words out, like gerrymandering, right? Now, everybody's going to be talking about gerrymandering. 90% of the people out there don't know what gerrymandering is, especially the people that are going to get online that would listen to Hakeem Jeffries and be like, oh, you guys just out there gerrymandering. Stop it.
Who is this Jerry anyway?
I mean, Jerry. I mean, when you're gonna react to every single legislative thing that happens to you with this theatrical zeal going on with Wolf Blitzer, who's 900 years old. I had to look it up while they were talking. How old is Wolf Blitzer? He's 77. They got him propped up there. He's got more Botox shoved in that face. I mean, he is just plastic at this point. I think the back of his head, he's got one of these clamps on it to pull his skin tight. Just right there on the back of the head, just pulls all the loose skin.
I'm not quite there yet, but
yeah, just pull it right back.
The thing about it is that California is threatening to the same thing if Texas does it. I say they better just get ready to go ahead and do it.
Well, we talked about that yesterday. Again, that's Gavin Newsom positioning himself so he just simply can't lose. But it's a very different deal. I mean, listen, the GOP is playing chess in this thing, but they better back it up. Now, Jasmine Crockett says she could lose her seat, which I say let's redistrict everything if this salamander with fake eyelashes is going to be out of the picture. But they'd give her a job on MSNBC running her mouth. She can go back to the hood, which she's never really been in. She's sounding the alarm that the new Texas U.S. House map for Republicans would make her lose her seat. Okay, sound pretty damn good to me. I like this plan. I'm all about it. Again, you've often heard me talk about Carthaginian peace. The Carthaginian peace is when you conquer your enemy, the people of Carthage, they would go and plow up your fields, and then they would pour salt on it so nothing grew there ever again. I don't want progressive agendas and ideologies to grow in this country. I don't want them in my life. Any ideology that says an unborn baby should be murdered out of the sake of convenience, I don't want that growing in my world. I don't like that. This idea that boys can be turned into girls and girls can be turned into boys, I don't like that. The idea that men can get in the pool or the locker room or the bathroom or the changing room with a girl, I don't like that ideology. These things that just completely violate common sense, reason, biology, logic, all the things. I don't want that. So, if it takes redistricting to get your garbage philosophy out of the political landscape, I say do it. Yeah. Do it.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it now after I've seen, and I did some more reading and research, and it gets done all the time.
Should we call Alex Stein?
Somewhere is always redrawing lines, whoever's in power.
Let's call Alex Stein. He never answers, though, because he's always in the bed.
Are you able to plug him into you?
I'm just going to have to tell him right now, don't cuss a whole lot. Let's see if we can get him.
He's the one. MSNBC sucks.
So funny.
He was going
get him on the
behind
phone.
Every camera, just,
Look at his face right there when he bombed MSNBC. That was great. He'll text me at 3 o'clock and be like, I was sleeping. He might be in jail.
Make sure he's not the one you call if your blood pressure goes up.
Yeah.
He's not
look at this. I'm gonna cover his number, but look at that picture right there when you call him.
Is that his own picture he put up, or is that one you put up for
I'm sure no, it's one he put up there. Play this clip when he bombed MSNBC.
We just watched the speaker gavel out with a whole lot of anger, Kelly. Here's the state of play. Here's
MSNBC sucks.
Hey, how are you?
MSNBC sucks.
Talk to you for a second.
MSNBC sucks.
You can see.
Okay.
You can see the frustration.
Sometimes this happens, and we understand that that can happen. And while we love free speech, we're going to keep control here. So, Ryan, thank you.
He's such a dick. I'm just saying, Alex is such a dick. I love him, but good Lord, Alex, you are such a dick.
Taking us through this. We'll all take a breath there. Maybe not. Okay. Go ahead, Ryan. See,
Hold on 1 second,
Yeah.
Kelly.
Okay. We're just going to pull the plug there. Thank
Kelly,
you,
this
Ryan.
is all playing out in real time.
It sure
Passion
is.
high.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of anger here, as you can see. So we're going to get a control of this and come back to you when we can.
Fair enough, fair enough. And we recognize people are expressing their views, and we're there to cover it. You do that job. We'll move on with our audience.
I mean, you had a perfectly good opportunity to put the microphone in front of him and let's hear his views. Why don't you let's hear his views, MSNBC, if you really care about the views. I mean, let's do that. And people don't understand, Alex is not a small guy. He played football, college football. Alex is about 6'2", 6'3". He's a solid boy, right? So you're not that little guy, little bald-headed guy's like, let me talk to you for a minute. He wasn't going to push Alex around, that's for sure. Oh, Alex. I tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, you got a death wish. You got a death wish.
You got to be really brave, really stupid, or a combination of thereof.
Well, he's done pretty well, all things considered. I mean, some of those people spitting on him and throwing crap on him and grabbing him and stuff like that, it would be a different outcome. You want to talk about my blood pressure getting up. So he got on the Texas Senate floor and talked about, well, just play this, talking about how
welcome. Introduce yourself. Go ahead.
My name's Alex Stein. I'm considered one of the sexiest men in conservative politics. And one thing I want to say, a lot of people are going to hear my testimony and you're going to say you're anti-LGBTQ. I want to say that's impossible because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So obviously I have a lot of gay pride. But, you know, a lot of conservatives like yourself, you want to outlaw transgenders in women's sports. I disagree. I like transgenders in women's sports because you can gamble on them and win money. You know, I won so much money on Leah Thomas's propeller in that pool. I almost turned draft kings, into draft queens. And, you know, I actually like transgenders in the military, too, because, first of all, transgenders are some of the meanest people on planet Earth, so they'd make a good soldier, don't you think? But we don't want these gargoyles in a dress, you know, some chick with a dick coming in there and trying to pee or poop next to my girlfriend, because that's disgusting. And, well, I was going to say something. Listen, I have my First Amendment right. Let me just speak.
Honestly, could be Alex's best work right here.
Let me tell you something. Someone sent this to me. I don't know. Sometimes I get stuff, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I open it up and I start kind of, look into it. And I held the phone up to my ear kind of here so it doesn't wake everybody up. And I thought it was one of those AI generated things. That's how I was like, oh, okay, that's funny, but I didn't realize it was real.
Arguably his best work. Go back to, don't play the clip, but just go back to the image, the still image of them there in the on the Senate floor while Alex is talking. And I want you to pay real close attention to a couple of things. So first of all, the guy who Alex has left there on the right side of your screen, if you watch that clip back, he looks like the guy over here, sitting over here by Alex. He looks like that meme where the guy looks like he's holding a fart in or holding a turd in, that thing that's been around forever?
Yep.
How progressively red he gets throughout this video is hilarious. You talk about a guy that literally wants to disappear into the floor. Now, the red person in the red wig over here, the dyed red hair, now that's a man, okay? That's a man. So they were all of these dudes with their man bits up there dressed like women. They were there in the Texas Senate. And again, they're lobbying on behalf of the right to go into women's spaces. That's literally what they're doing. So good on you, Alex, for doing that, as only Alex could do.
Unfortunately, I think, because the more they push that, it is going to lead to some violence because, if a man stands by and lets one of those go into the bathroom with his wife or his daughters, that's pathetic.
It is pathetic. So anyway, that's
you're asking for it. You're asking for it.
We are not condoning violence.
I'm just saying
on the John Prather show.
You go the wrong place.
Yeah. Did you see this Democrat congresswoman who's speaking in Guatemala, and she goes off and she's speaking in Spanish. So we don't need to listen to it. She's speaking in Spanish. And I'll just tell you. And this is the one where she says, I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. You should be kicked out. Your seat should be vacated. You should be denaturalized and deported, as far as I'm concerned. If Guatemala is what you love and that's where your loyalty lies, that's where your fealty is, then go to Guatemala. We'll see you. Adios. Hit the road, Jack. So, you know...
You wouldn't have a seat. You wouldn't have a seat in Guatemala. So,
you know, I mean, get them all out. So, this is what happens when you have an anchor baby. Her parents obviously had her. She was an anchor baby. They came, and so you don't want to be here. See you. This is one of those DACA failures right there. The whole thing. Let me tell you about our friends first over at Allied Oilfield. AlliedOilfield.com. Check them out. They texted me yesterday. They said, you want some Allied Oilfield merch prior to the oil show out in Midland? I was like, yeah, send me some. I'm an XL, baby. AlliedOilfield.com. Go over there and check their website out. They're the people that help us to drill, baby, drill. They are the industry leaders for the equipment in the oil and gas company. So if you're an engineer, you work in oil and gas, or you're in the trucking industry, or you just like big stuff that's cool and you need something built out for a project you got going on, bet they can help you out. They'll help you design it. They'll bring the concept to life. So go over there and check them out, AlliedOilfield.com. They're over in Lebanon, Texas. They've been doing this for over 2 decades, and they have created a lot of the equipment that the oil industry out in the oil field, all you oil field trash, baby, I love you. God bless you for doing what you do. They're the ones who have made the equipment that enables you guys to do that job that we're so thankful for. So let's pump that crude out that ground, baby. Yeah, pull it out of the cracks and crevices. Let's frack it. So check them out, AlliedOilfield.com. All right, well, they've sent the subpoenas out for several high-level politicians over the Russia probe. Nick Sorter says that compelling them to testify in front of Congress, including the Clintons, Merrick Garland, James Comey, and more. I mean, if they don't show up, it says lock them up. I mean, so here's the full list. You got Hillary Clinton, and you got the dates there as well. October 9. Bill Clinton, October 14th. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, October 2nd. FBI Director James Comey, October 7th. Bill Barr, August 18th. Alberto Gonzalez, 26th.
So
Jeff Sessions,
what happens
28th.
when they don't show up? What do you do when they don't show up?
Go get them. What would happen if you didn't show up?
Exactly.
Yeah. What would happen if you were in a situation where you had a subpoena, you had a date to appear? I mean, if you got a traffic ticket. Now, Gunther Eagleman asks a question right there. He says, how many won't show?
Yeah, there's going to be people that are not going to show. But even if, they're found fully guilty and everything, if they don't do anything, this is all just a waste of money and time.
Well, again, it's always more waste. It's always more waste of time, taxpayer money, all those things. So, they'll go in there and they will plead the fifth or something of that nature. People say, why don't they call Joe Biden? Well, they've already they had determined that Joe Biden was never competent enough mentally to be able to stand any trial or to testify. They already did that a year and a half ago. So they're not going to do that. But
he was okay to be president. What a freaking waste.
I mean, just bring it on, baby. So we'll see. So, the GOP plan to get Obama, they've announced a grand jury. I mean, that's a big deal. Pam Bondi's directed a federal prosecutor to bring evidence given to them by Tulsi Gabbard to a grand jury for potential indictments. You know how a grand jury works. A grand jury looks at all the evidence and says, okay, this is something where a charge needs to be brought, a case needs to be brought. Let's do a little bit of this clip.
Well, Will, good to be with you. This is coming out of the Justice Department. Fox News can confirm that Attorney General Pam Bondi today signed an order directing an unnamed U.S. federal prosecutor to take evidence to a grand jury relating to an alleged conspiracy to tie then 2016 candidate Donald Trump to the country of Russia. Now, Fox News reviewed the one-page order just hours ago signed by the Attorney General. A source familiar with the probe confirms this as well, while a DOJ spokesperson declined to comment on this report of an investigation. Fox is told Attorney General Bondi is taking the referrals from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, quote, very seriously. The spokesperson says that Bondi believes there is, quote, clear cause for deep concern, end quote, and a need for the next steps. Now, this move, Will, comes just a couple of weeks after the Director of National Intelligence, you see her right there, Tulsi Gabbard, sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department regarding what she says proves there was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's candidacy and later his first term in office. Today, there are no charges.
Oh, boy. What do you think is going to happen, Steve?
No, in the end, nothing.
You don't think so, huh? No arrest, no indictments.
No arrest. I think they're just blowing hard. I hope they prove me wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, you know, Hakeem Jeffries, he made the comment. He said, or no, Van Jones actually was talking to, you know, Van Jones came up yesterday and he was talking about how the Republicans are just trying to put everybody in jail. What did you try to do to Donald Trump for the last 2 years?
No kidding.
I mean, you had 91 indictments. I mean, are you serious right now? I mean, these guys, it's amazing. Like, you're just going to not believe.
Yeah, they need to mash the gas, go full on with it, and don't back off at all.
Well, I want you guys to think critically about this. Okay, so what ultimately is this? Let's say they bring this grand jury and they go after them. They put the subpoenas out there to testify, even if they don't show up. I think not showing up is an admission of guilt in a lot of ways. You're not willing to go in there and talk about your innocence, therefore you are protecting your guilt. But one thing that'll happen, this becomes about narrative control. This becomes a situation where, you keep dragging out this political theater on both sides, and you do it long enough that they're sitting there and they're putting duct tape on a crumbling regime. I mean, the DNC is in the tank. I mean, they're polling at 30% at this point? I mean, it's not much off from that. Nobody. They got no one. You got no one. Even CNN admits they have no one who's emerging as a clear leader in the party. Because, again, all these people have ever done is become a soundbite. And all of these permanent politicians up there on both sides have done the same thing. But here's the thing. These folks on the left, whether it's Jasmine Crockett, Hakeem Jeffries, you pick your AOC, all of them, they've become a soundbite-driven agenda because they're on there just trying to see who can punch through the smoke. They're not offering any real ideas. And so when you bring this stuff up and you start to pull back the curtain a little bit, whether anybody gets perp walked or handcuffed or goes out in the orange jumpsuit or not, again, the GOP, Trump administration, I should say, Pam Bondi, I'll give it to them. They are controlling the narrative and making people see just how corrupt all of this is. Now, there is nothing that you're going to pull back and shine the lights in the eyes of these people to make their minds, the little light bulb go on, and they go, oh, I have been lied to. The Krasensteins and the Harry Sissons of the world, the people that are paid to be shills for the left, you're never going to change their minds. I mean, unless Jesus shows up, manifests on the road to Damascus and knocks them on the ground and blinds them like the Apostle Paul. That ain't going to happen. But the average person, like the other day when we saw that caller call into Chris Cuomo's show, and she's like, I'm going to lose friends. Chris Cuomo said, you're going to lose friends for saying that. She's like, I like what's going on. I like what's going on. I think the average rank and file person out there who's at least trying to pay attention, I think that they're getting it. I think their eyes are being opened, and you can't look at this and say, okay, Hillary Clinton, I mean, she's such a fine lady. I would love to have tea and crumpets with Hillary Clinton. So they've exposed the narrative on this. They're controlling the narrative. And I think when they rip the duct tape off that crumbling regime of the DNC, I don't think the DNC can recover. They just don't have a messiah big enough that they can trot out to the front lines. I mean, when you got Kamala Harris, who's not going to run for governor in California, and you know exactly what her plans are. She's planning to run in 2028. That's how narcissistic this witch is. That you got beat down both in your own primaries and then in the presidential race with Donald Trump. You got beat down, and you're going to try to come back from that? Yeah.
So this kind of becomes really a national defense thing, if you think about it, when you're trying to undermine elections and stuff like that and control that. So I hope now that our FBI and whoever else has wiretaps out, they have all these, because these people are talking before they go or not go.
Yeah. Well, you can't indict a movement. You can't jail a movement. See, here's the difference. When they went after Trump, the MAGA support was so strong that there was no way they were going to make that stick, because you can't indict a spirit. The MAGA movement was so strong in 2020 to get Trump reelected. They don't have that. They don't have that same spirit. You can't handcuff the will of the American people. And the will of the American people, like 77 million strong, said we want Donald Trump because this crazy nonsense of putting chicks with dicks into the bathrooms with our daughters, that ain't going to fly with us. And they made agendas out of that. So let's see. If nothing else, let me just say to the audience, those of you in the chat, those of you participating, let me just say my point is, even if nobody gets, quote, arrested, and they're not. I want them to, but they're not. They should, but they're not. They'll get some of their underlings. They'll find somebody. I mean, I'd love to see Peter Strzok and Lisa Page get arrested. Just that smug, pompous, arrogant pinhead. I'd just love to see something like that. But some of these underlings like that, they're not putting Hillary Clinton in an orange jumpsuit. They're just not. They should.
But even if they put Hillary in a jumpsuit and locked her in jail, you wouldn't even see it on CNN.
They'd explain it away. This would be political, be weaponizing lawfare, all the stuff that they did with Donald Trump. They wanted to do it with Donald Trump. And the difference between the left and the right is the left would actually carry it out. The GOP spineless, they won't do it. That's why I say they're not going to do it. Talk about it, won't do it. And they might get some people, some underlings that get tossed into the grinder, but that might happen. But all I'm telling you is at least find hope in this. It ain't enough, but at least find hope in this, that you're pulling it back and you're exposing the way the game is played. Now, I know, we already knew, but the good thing is the people who didn't know, or the people who have been walking in the dark, at least we hope some of their eyes are being opened.
No, they won't open. You could lock every single one of them up. Anybody
I'm not talking about the higher ups. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the people, the average rank and file person out there who looks at things and they haven't picked a political party. They're political orphans, and there are masses of them across the country. See, we think everybody's on one side or the other, but that's not where people live.
No, I talk to a lot of people out there, and a lot of them, I don't follow politics.
A lot of people. There are a lot of people out there that are political orphans, and they're like, I don't identify as either one. Okay, so we think that everybody is either 100% right or 100% left, but that is not where the majority of Americans live.
What I was going to say is, no matter what you do, if somebody hates Donald Trump, they're never coming back. They're never coming back over this side.
You're not curing the TDS. You're not curing the TDS unless you're somebody like Bill Maher, who has the privilege of being able to see behind the curtain by actually going to the White House and spending time with the man, and then you go, oh, I really have been wrong.
And because a lefty liberal watched his show, they didn't change their mind about him.
No, they're not going to. In fact, what they're going to do is, rather than change their mind or think critically, they're just going to express more hate towards Bill Maher. So my issue with all of it is this. If you don't have that privilege, you're not going to cure the TDS. But the people who are out there in the middle, who have been told what to believe, and they're like, I'm not supposed to like this person or like that person, their eyes might be open and say, the Democrats, they really are kind of crooked with all this stuff that they've done.
Yeah. I think they're all crooked. You just got to pick who's less crooked.
Well, they're all crooked. I mean, anybody in Washington, D.C. is crooked because you got to be crooked to play the stupid game because it's a crooked game. But by and large, the people out there with common sense who just just kind of live my life and I want to make the best choices, whatever, hopefully their eyes get opened by exposing just the nasty rot. Now, is there going to be accountability? I don't believe so. House Judiciary subpoenas DOJ for Epstein files. Bring them out. And that includes the Biden regime's communications regarding the Epstein case. All of them. You know, all these people talking about, Trump's hiding the list. Well, why didn't Obama pull it out? I mean, they had 12 out of the last 16 years.
If Trump's hiding a list or whatever, if he's hiding something, he's not doing it for himself. He's hiding it for somebody else, like Bill Clinton.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that thing's been so doctored and filtered and messed with and, diluted and corrupted that I don't know that we'll ever know the truth on anything like that. So, but again, I would bring it out. Let's see what we got. Let's see the communication. If nothing else, let's see the communication on it. I mean, if we have all these emails and these communications of what Hillary Clinton signed off on for the Russia collusion hoax, then let's take a look at what's on the Epstein communication. Somebody's talked about it. Let's get those files. Let's see what was communicated. Bill Nye, the science guy. This guy's still alive? He says they got to vote Republicans out of office in order to save the planet. Play. Look at this guy.
And look, you guys, everybody. I used to work in the oil industry. People forget I used to work in the oil patch in West Texas. And we just can't do it anymore. I mean, okay, so the sooner we stop doing it, the better. And, of course, for us in the United States, right now we're having this very strong heat dome. It's very hot weather, which is going to affect agriculture, which will affect everybody's prices, the price of your food in the grocery store. And what we don't want is to have it be so far along, it's very, very difficult to reverse. So everybody pay attention and vote. And I'll just say that this idea that whatever the oil and gas industry tells
Look at her.
People in the administration is true is probably wrong. And so just don't vote for them anymore. And when you get a chance, let's get them out of office.
That's the solution for the heat dome over Texas is that we got to get rid of Republicans. Oh, boy, even Peppermint Patty, Jen Psaki didn't know what to do with that. Rambling, mumbling, bumbling, whatever.
My days in the oil field are long over. That was back in the early 90s, and I worked offshore on drilling rigs. And most of the people that were out there on that drilling rig were, old guys. They were all Democrats. Every single one of them. It wasn't a Republican-Democrat thing.
Yeah.
It was. I understand that Democrats from back then are a little bit different than they are now.
Little different. Yeah. Stephen A. He's back on the fence. He's God, he's barking. And see, again, I go back to everybody wants to be a freaking soundbite. Everybody wants to be a soundbite. He's on with Sean Hannity. Play the clip.
You know good and well I wouldn't vote for Mamdani. I wouldn't vote for AOC. I don't like the way Jasmine Crockett is talking. I don't think that helps the Democratic
Party. I have a last question.
I don't like
Exit
that.
question. Who are the leaders of your party right now? It's not Hakeem Jeffries and it's not Chuck Schumer. It's all those names I mentioned.
Sean, there is no leader for the Democratic Party. That's why they're in trouble. There is no leader.
That's right. There's no leader. I mean, it's sort of like what I just said a minute ago.
That's that's a good thing.
I mean, well, it is. Again, the whole regime is held together by duct tape right now. Kamala Harris. Did you know Kamala Harris wrote a book?
I had heard she was writing one.
Dave Portnoy from Barstool, he said that trying to read that thing is worse than death. I don't... Play the clip.
Your fantasy football league, you got an interesting punishment for losing. Watch this.
If you finish in last place in your fantasy football league this year, you will be locked in a room with no phone until you finish reading every single page of Kamala Harris's new book. And when you finish all 500 pages, you will be required to give the entire league a presentation. And if that presentation does not pass ChatGPT standards, you will then be required to listen to the audiobook for 24 hours straight.
You're the guy who, you'd make that happen, wouldn't you? You'd actually do that. But that, that's cruel and unusual punishment. You know that.
Some people say there's no punishment worse than death. I think this one is. Yeah.
Portnoy's a tool bag, but that's funny. That's extremely cruel. And I think that violates the 8th Amendment, actually. It's cruel and unusual. I caught hell over the SNAP purchases of soda, candy, certain snacks banned in 6 states because I shared a post last year, I guess it was last year, maybe earlier this year, about the debate whether or not soda should be on SNAP purchases or whatever. No, I don't think soda should be on SNAP. I don't think any of those luxury items on there. But it was worth the discussion that was being discussed. I put the thing out there. Oh, I caught hell for it. Everybody calls me, whatever.
I got an idea. Come take a look inside my pantry. Yeah. And we'll go from there, and we'll kind of base the whole SNAP program based on what I have in my. And I'm well stocked with food in the fridge and in my pantry. Yeah. You're not going to find sodas. You're not going to find the Little Debbie snack cakes and all that kind of stuff. Not there.
Somebody said, a lot of people said that I was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by the soda industry.
And if you were, who cares? That's your business.
Well, I wasn't, though. But I mean, regardless, I still wasn't. I didn't make any money from anybody. So
if you're dependent on the government to feed you, you're gonna eat. You should be eating healthier stuff than garbage.
Well, again, it's luxury items, right? And then of course,
luxury items because we're feeding other countries rice and corn.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve.
I get pissed off about
Steve.
Government handouts.
Take your blood pressure medicine.
I need it right now. What's that? I get some Make Wellness right here. Get some.
Well, they're getting rid of it. It is banned in 6 different states. I was trying to make a point, but you get all fired up about your freaking pantry. Oh my God, Steve, take that blood pressure medicine before I have to go take my own. The Denmark Zoo. This was one of the stories you found. Denmark
this
Zoo.
Is the kind of stuff that cracks me up.
You spend more time finding this crazy crap. They want people to donate their small pets as food for captive predators. You can't make it up, folks. Little Fifi's going to the crocodiles. This is Copenhagen.
How about we chop up that lion and feed them to our pets?
Yeah.
And then we don't have to worry about having the lion in the zoo.
You know what happened to that dentist that went to Africa and killed Cecil the lion. I mean, that dude was, they never heard from again. But yeah, they're basically saying you got little old pets. They're gonna gently euthanize your pet. And this Facebook post, if you have a healthy animal that needs to be given away for various reasons, feel free to donate it to us.
Yeah,
I mean that's the definition of
crazy, and that's ridiculous. If you're gonna give an animal to a predator, they need to be alive, not euthanized. I mean, I'm not saying it's okay to do it. I'm just saying if you're going to, you got to let the predator do its thing.
Now, people, they're not talking about your dog. Let's be clear. I bet they take that dog though.
I bet they do.
The zoo points to guinea pigs, rabbits, and chickens. Look at this dog. He's like, the hell you gonna do? Gonna feed me the what? You gonna do what now? Say what? Are you crazy?
When I was a young man, I had a pet snake, and we fed it the little gerbils and stuff alive. We didn't euthanize them.
Didn't use the little. Well, see, now you can go buy them little frozen mice.
Yeah, the dead little.
They're already dead.
Call them pinkies.
See, I don't like it. I was never about all that. I was never about that life. Never about all that.
That dog is.
Go.
Anyway, that whole article just cracked me up. I'm like, what do they think? Because that's what I immediately went to cats and dogs. When I think pets, I think cats and dogs.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. All right, Steve. Any final words, my brother?
Yeah, follow me on all the socials at PartyFoulSteve.
All right, Steve.
Follow my Make Wellness team. Join my team.
Yeah.
Did you see my name up on the record thing? Yeah. It's kind of broke records.
Look at Steve making his mark.
Yeah.
Making his mark. I love it. All right, boo-boo. Love you, buddy. Folks, let me tell you something. just real clear while I got your attention. Being an American and being a patriot, I think we've proven over and over again, and you know this, it's not about waving a flag on the 4th of July and calling it a day. It's not about slapping a bumper sticker on your truck that just says, I support the troops. That's your job's not done at that point. I go back to what I was saying at the beginning, talking about legacy. Being a patriot, and that word is overused so much, it means having a backbone and having one that's made of steel and having a spirit that doesn't flinch when the world throws crap at you. You got to stand for something when it's unpopular, when it's inconvenient, when it's dangerous. You got to love this country. With all of its flaws, with all of its sins, all of its scars, you got to love this country enough to call out its corruption, challenge its decay, demand better. I do hope they arrest some people. I do hope there's justice. And I'm not talking about just from, we're not just fighting foreign powers. That's easy to do that. I'm talking about from within, because that's a real enemy too. Real patriots like us, we're not quiet. We're not going to be quiet. We're not going to be passive. We're not going to sit around waiting for permission from bureaucrats or corporate overlords or big tech gods to speak the truth. We're not waiting for their permission. We're going to blow it up. We're going to talk. And you know what? The blood that soaked into the soil of Bunker Hill, the cries of freezing soldiers at Valley Forge, the ragtag farmers who picked up their muskets and told the largest empire in the world to go F themselves, because you're not going to do that on our land, not on our watch. We got to remember that. Because being a patriot means your loyalty isn't to a party. So while all these politicians out there and these talking heads are looking for their sound bites, we're not about these polished politicians in a tailored suit who only remember your name when it's election season. No, your loyalty is the Constitution of the United States, the ideals of liberty, and to the God-given rights that no man, no government, no tyrant has the authority to revoke unless you give them away. So, folks, remember that. A patriot doesn't burn down their own house because they're mad at the family. And I'm seeing a lot of that online, and it bothers me. Not that that's worth anything, but it does bother me. True patriots fix the foundation. And we're too busy being at each other's throats. A true patriot defends the weak and calls out the liars and is willing to debate and discuss, even disagree. And they're not afraid to be hated for loving and pursuing the truth, even when sometimes they're wrong. Can we allow a little bit of grace for people to be wrong in our society? If they're doing it with the right intentions, pursuing the right things with a fervent passion. You see, we live in a world of cowards that are masquerading as victims and tyrants that are hiding behind press conferences, and the American patriot stands alone. And you know what? If you must do that, then stand alone. Because I don't believe, and I make no mistake, I believe you will stand. So if you want to know what patriotism looks like, it looks like sacrifice. If they're not sacrificing and giving up anything, it's not patriotism. I'm talking about the dads who work 2 jobs to still make it to the Little League game. And it looks like moms who raise their kids to think critically in a world that wants to indoctrinate and brainwash them. Looks like the veterans who come home to a broken system and still hold their heads high and salute that flag. It looks like farmers and truckers and small business owners and everyday men and women who still believe this land is worth something and certainly worth saving. And don't get it twisted, folks. Patriotism isn't compliance. It's not blind obedience. It's not rolling over simply because the government says to do it, or it gets a little hard, or times are a little tough, or they took your soda off the SNAP program. That's tyranny's playground, folks. They control you when you depend on them. Patriotism is resistance with a righteous cause. It's knowing that freedom isn't free and being willing to pay the cost in sweat and sacrifice, and if necessary, in blood, is worthwhile. So while the left can cry, the media lies, the global elites will fantasize about a world without borders or backbone, we're going to remember what's worth all of it. We remember who we are. The descendants of rebels. We are the storm the tyrants fear, and we're the last damn line of defense in the sand. So being a patriot means you're not going to kneel unless it's to God. You don't apologize for loving your country, and you sure as hell don't let the next generation forget what it costs to keep the stars and stripes flying over this country. You want to call yourself an American patriot? Stand up, speak out, sacrifice, and never, never surrender your freedom to cowards who hate the very soil you were born on. Do not apologize for any of it. It's the land of the free, but only if the brave keep showing up. I love you guys. Check me out in the morning before the noise. We'll lead a little devotional on all the places. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for showing up today on the Chad Prather Show. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Make sure you tell your friends and family about the Chad Prather Show. We're having a good time over here. So on behalf of Party Foul Steve, make sure you follow him on socials at Party Foul Steve and our producer, David Medina, at David Medina, PDX, on X and Instagram. I'm Chad Prather. Visit watchchad.com where all the fun stuff is. Until then, I will talk to you tomorrow. I love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.